Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha's here. Butler on vacation.
Again. He started his earlier than you.
How does that...
And it's your birthday week.
I know. How did he end up not working my birthday week? I'm working up until like literally right before my birthday.
Right. And he had the audacity to dislike my comment about the pizza party today.
Yeah, he's a little big for his European tight pants.
He deserves it. He's been working hard.
Okay,
okay.
You're
I'm
right.
joking.
You're right. Hardest worker here.
It's funnier. It's funnier this way.
Yeah,
It's
it
funnier.
is funnier this
If
way.
he was harder, if he was a hardworking, nose to the grindstone type of guy,
yeah, then we'd miss him today. We'd be like, what are we gonna do? He does so much. We don't know what to do.
It would be boring,
Yeah.
and then nothing to talk about.
Yeah,
anyway,
nothing to talk about.
That's the way to justify.
All right, what are we doing here? what do we got going on? I see uncomfortable Drew in our left-hand corner.
Ignore him.
If you're joining us on Twitch, but Tom has something he wants to talk about.
Well, Toughies tomorrow night, June 10th. George Porter Jr. From the Meters is going to be there at Music Box. They got a brand new venue attached to Toughies. If you haven't seen it yet, it's beautiful. They redone like the entire inside. It's a semi-small venue. It's still pretty big. But you can get tickets at toughiesider.com. But me and Daniel were talking on Twitch before, like, you go watch this guy play. He's in his 70s. He's a badass bass player. Cool MF.
I have a feeling you go here, you lay back with maybe a tiki drink or one of their handmade ciders, and you ease into the sweet, funky sounds of George and his bass as he kind of thumps you into the night.
Dude, if he just played bass and then told some stories, like that would be an unbelievable show.
I know, and we were actually talking about how we wish that we had the opportunity to give him a chat up, but maybe another time. Sanford is setting themselves up, like you always say, to be the most amazing city close to Orlando for really cool, unique, awesome little music venues.
Yeah. Anyway, Drew's on the line. He's been waiting for us.
What do you want? Now, what's up, Drew?
He tried to do this huge, convoluted
you made it too crazy.
bit where
I tried too hard.
That's what we
never
do.
try that.
Drew,
That's what we do.
Didn't we yell at you for trying too hard to
First time.
Yeah, we're like, lose the mullet wig, lose the novelty backgrounds. You got
he doubled down.
He's like, no, I listen to nothing that they say. So what were you attempting to do today? Because I don't even know what's going on. All I know is I got a text last night from our producer Samantha, who said there's pizza provided tomorrow, courtesy of annoying trivia Drew.
Yeah. And then first I said, who is that? And then I said, what is this? And then you're like, the pizza guy's going to ask us a trivia question. And I'm like, what? And then I'm like, the pizza who's the regular, like, Domino's delivery guy?
I don't want him in here. He might have corona.
No,
were you trying to kill us, Drew?
No.
I hope you pre-tipped, because I did not tip that guy.
But it's like, who asked the delivery? Like, it's post-corona, they just drop the stuff off at the front and haul ass.
Yeah.
Like, it's the best thing.
Maybe he wrote the question on the inside of the box.
Ooh,
by the way,
I haven't
corona
checked.
is the best thing to ever happen to delivery people in the history of time, because it's allowed them to drop the damn food off in the front door and haul ass, which they always wanted to do.
Yeah, I just wonder if their tips reflect that.
That's what I was wondering.
I don't know.
Well, you tip them pre-tip.
I know I do.
Not everybody does.
Right.
Yeah, well, regardless.
I'm a 25%er all day long on delivery because I feel bad for you because it's hard.
Here's why it's better, because the guy would be a 50-50 whether the people were going to tip anyway,
Do you see how sad Drew is that he hasn't been able to break into his questions yet? And he knows that we're killing time.
Yeah, we are.
So, Drew,
the show.
What the hell did you try to do?
Yeah, so I actually set it up with the manager at Domino's to have this delivered at 11:40. So it sounds like it was delivered too soon. And then he had a question, one of my trivia questions to ask you. And I pre-tipped so they would do it. And she's like, oh, yeah, this guy, he's real outgoing. He'll love to do it. And,
Oh, you paid extra for it?
How much did you tip him extra, Drew?
Okay, Drew, I'm really sorry.
Now I wish I would have cornered the guy to come in here.
No,
how many pizzas do you think we're going to eat? You got us 3 pizzas.
Yeah, we're not that big and fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to leave it short, though. We're like, who grabs the last slice? So I want to make sure there's enough.
Like Tom's birthday party.
It makes me extremely... Yeah, that's true. Drew buys more pizzas for 3 people than you bought for 18 children at your pool party. This pool party, they had those baby slices like they do at pizza parties at work, where somebody else came through there with their own pizza slicer and sliced them thinner.
Why all this makes me mad is that this is
make you happy. It got ruined.
It's a tremendous amount of work, Drew, for a outcome I'm still confused by. I don't know what this will eventually do for you, Drew.
He's doing a corporate time with Tom and Dan trivia where he asks us questions about our own show.
Do you want a sales job? Do you want a position here at T&D Media? Do you want your name out so you can somehow?
So you want to know what the end game is here?
Yeah. I just want to know Drew's motivation because I don't know what that is.
It is true because, Drew, every time we do these, they go poorly and you always look sad. So what's the end game?
Look sad?
Well, at the end, in the beginning, when we're establishing the Zoom connection and we're ending the Zoom connection, you have what I call resting bro face, where you look
you do have resting bro face. It's unfortunate.
You're kind of grumping,
and you spend this tremendous amount of time, and now you're buying pizzas, you're tipping the guy extra, you're wasting.
And it's not even working because the manager, the lady, lied to you. The real thing you should do here is to call her live on our show and give her a what for.
I'm sure that'll do something.
You listen here. I realize that we are coming out of a pandemic, but I have a trivia question I paid extra for you to ask. God damn it. And I normally don't curse, but I am really spicy today.
So, Drew, what was the trivia question you were supposed to get this Domino's pizza delivery guy to ask us?
Oh, see, that's the part that makes me so mad because this was the perfect question. So it was on 2 days ago, that Monday. The question was, what did Tom call a male seamstress?
I know what I called it.
Oh, I remember this one.
Oh, semen.
No.
Semen. I wanted you to yell that out to support the
Semen
guy.
is... Let me see semen.
1 point for me.
Well, that guy probably thought you were pranking him or he's going to get beat up.
That's true.
That's a weird
there's
question.
somebody here. There's somebody at the door. Who is that?
Oh, is it him again? He's like, I forgot to ask him.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
he was going around back. Oh my God,
back.
it's the Baldwin Slasher. Watch out.
Drew, did you just send the Baldwin Slasher?
Is this the Slasher? How did you...
There's my end game.
I'll slash him.
You'll see, Drew. When we kill your best friend, the Slasher.
If you try to kill me, I'll kill you.
Is that our other guest?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Oh, my God.
All right, sorry.
Also,
Butler
like
leaves for vacation. Butler leaves for vacation. The whole thing falls apart.
Our other guest just so happens to look like the Baldwin Slasher.
Yeah, he does.
Which is...
My God. All right, Drew. We have limited time.
Yeah.
Let's jump into the questions and see if we can
Well, I got 1 point already.
crown a winner.
Okay.
Yes.
Put it down, Sam.
All right.
You're actually up now because we were all tied up at 4 because Tom and Dan did the dare to get 2 points at the end of our last bit. So Sam now has the lead 5.
Nobody knows.
First question.
True.
Nobody remembers, or I don't want to say it.
Nobody remembers
No
the
one
win, Drew. It's just there. It's just there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
First question.
First question. The category is This Doesn't Add Up. On the Friday Free Show, Dan went off script for the American Air and Heat advertisement. What did Dan rebrand this client?
Samantha,
Damn it.
American Hair and Meat.
Correct, American Hair and Meat.
Do we
hold
want
on,
to live these? Because these get... okay, this is not... I'm not sure this is a good idea, this bit.
Now he's clowning you guys.
Yeah, now he is clouding us.
I want to do...
Hey, listen, I think that I got a good idea here. What's your new butcher sponsor?
Organic Meats.
Organic meat.
Organic Meats could run with that. They got a farm. They can make some horsehair weaves.
Wow. That's
I want to
American
run
Hair and Meat, baby.
I want to run a marketing class for UCF where I explain to the future media how the key to advertising is to change the name of the company to some goof name.
To weird names.
And then talk about that for the majority of the commercial and then never really get back to the original company. And then there it is. That's the magic formula. Also, it's cheating because Samantha edits these commercials, so she has to hear it.
you guys record it.
You're enmeshed in this.
But I don't remember anything I
We're
say.
just off the dome. I mean, we're Eminem in the cipher, and you're and you're one of our fans listening to the CD every day. You know,
Daniel's right.
yeah. I mean, we are what we're spitting is literally
That should be only worth half a point, Drew.
yeah, half a point,
Wow.
Drew.
She's 1.5
And
points
if you
up.
want to continue to do this bit, you'll make it a half a point.
On to the next question. All right, here we go. This category is the love of childish things. On Thursday's episode titled The Sanford 3, BDM, the ghost of Manute Bowl, chimed in during the segment on exotic dancers. What did he say his 3 favorite things were?
Damn it.
Oh, God. I feel like
This is why I love radio trivia.
I saw this in the chat. Now I can't remember.
Daniel said it. He's
did
like,
say it.
he's
I
like,
gave him credit
Yeah.
oh
for
yeah, he's like,
a
this
funny
is
joke.
Yeah. Oh God, he's so
Give
forgettable.
me 2 of the 3.
I have no idea. Drew is too hard. Now you're asking us what our the people in the chat room that care the most about us think. Don't care.
I knew you were going to say it. I knew he was going Smoking Jay.
Smoking Jay is
he
my
went
new
full
favorite.
Cutler,
Yeah.
full Cutler.
Me and Daniel have been.
I've been yelling. My daughter yells it now.
Yeah.
She's like, "Don't care."
What is it, Drew?
All right, his 3 favorite things: strippers, wrestling, and candy.
No, that's right.
We're wrestling and candy.
That's right.
That's funny.
That is funny.
It's-
Oh,
now
God.
that you said it again, it's funny. All right, next question.
Next question. This category is called DeBerry Joe, Are You Okay? Are You Okay, DeBerry? On Friday's episode titled DeBerry Joe in the Mid-Teens, you were discussing if DeBerry Joe had the right to tackle these young suspects. What did Sam refer to them as?
Ooh.
Oh man, I think it was the N-word, but I may be
How
wrong.
dare you?
Was it the N word and then the C word
For girls.
Yeah.
There's a hint in the category. Do you remember what I just said the category was?
Did she call him Michael Jackson?
Mid-teens.
Michael Jackson's close.
She called them blankets. I don't even know. I don't listen to our show, Drew.
Michael Jackson's close. What
What does that mean? Get out of here. He's close.
Never say that. He's close to what? Oh God, Drew
damn
just
it.
had a mild heart attack.
What was it, Drew?
Smooth Criminals.
No.
Smooth criminal.
Michael Jackson was close.
I made a good Michael Jackson joke, and I didn't even remember
That
it.
is pretty
funny.
funny.
You know what? That's funny.
Also, I like it that Drew I never hear the names of the show. And Drew's that's the first time I'm hearing the name of that show. Mm-hmm. And I should probably look at it. Anyway,
Okay,
next one.
moving on.
Real quick, you want to hear a good joke?
This is where it goes N-word.
Sure. Yeah,
yeah,
Drew.
go ahead.
You guys
Yeah.
were talking about Sanford earlier, so here's a Sanford joke for you. Why did Gwen Stefani get kicked out of Sanford?
Uh-oh.
She ain't no Holly
She
Bot
ain't
girl.
no hollabach girl.
Because she ain't no hollabox girl. I think we can end the whole. I think we can
Now
end it.
mad, yeah.
Yeah.
Throw the pizzas away.
Yeah.
No, I didn't bring lunch today.
What if I sent Drew a picture of me just taking a giant number 2 right on the pizza?
I think it only hurts us, right?
I can buy pizzas. I got $12.
Next question, Drew.
All right, this is the last question.
Okay.
Here we go. This one's an easy one. I think anyone can
Everybody's
scoop up the points here.
favorite question on radio trivia is the last question. That's true. Yeah, I'm such a fan of radio trivia. Yeah. And you could play at home while you're driving. Go F yourself.
All right, category for this question. This Spud's for you. On Monday's episode titled Mr. Boom Bap, BDM Tracy sent over an old photo of Dan. What did Sam say he resembled in the image?
Woodstock from Snoopy.
No.
Um,
Older photo back in the day.
Brad Pitt's younger brother.
Before you got a Peloton.
Super Dave. Or is that
Super Dave.
Is that just me in the office? Oh God! I remember because we were joking. There's photos of us, me and Daniel, at our fattest, and it's pretty funny.
I don't know, Drew.
A potato and a button-up.
Potato
I said that?
Oh, yeah, that sounds meaner than Samantha.
Damn.
That doesn't sound like me, right?
Yeah. My God. That's
You know what? You're fired. Thanks a lot, Drew. Now you've got blood on your hands.
you've
Great, I got a pizza, but now I have no job.
Yeah, you can take, you know what, Sam? I'm a nice enough guy. Take all 3 pizzas, but you are fired. Clean out your goddamn desk. And Drew, you are, you're all to blame for this.
Oh, man.
Samantha called Daniel a potato.
In a button-up.
It's funny.
Which is
it's funny.
It's funny, but it is mean.
It's
meaner.
mean.
Than, it sounds meaner than I think.
That's something
Samantha,
I usually say in my head.
It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite lines of the song. When you are a human potato. I love that line. It's such a funny line.
Well, you actually don't have enough questions today, Drew. Because we have more time to fill, and you win on
we're good.
Why don't you interview Drew?
Well, let's get to the bottom of
what
this is all about.
Or Drew's lust for fame.
Yeah. It's let's go back to examining why Drew is doing this. Because
what do you get out of this, Drew? Who knows that you do this?
Yeah.
You're just losing money at this point.
Do your coworkers hear you and then like, oh, I heard you on the radio? Do they like? Is there any of that? Do you have friends and family that listen to the show and then they hear you on there and then you get some sort of, endorphin rush or whatever out of that?
Or maybe your wife or girlfriend knows that you do it and maybe she's, turns her on that you're, trivia man.
Yeah.
I seriously just do it for fun. Like, this is a good time for me. So no other reason. Actually, I haven't told anybody at work that I do this. Only people who know it are my neighbor and a few friends back home.
Who tells their neighbor?
Who talks to their neighbors?
You're out there watering your begonias, and you're like, "Hey, I do a trivia thing. I'm doing a real big, doing a pizza extravaganza. Yes, tomorrow I'm doing it. It's Tom and Dan."
Is your neighbor a listener?
He is. That's why. Yeah, we're both big fans.
Okay.
You guys get together and maybe throw the pigskin around in the front yard. Maybe grill some dogs together.
Yeah.
Grill some dogs. We'll play because he's right across the street. We play yard golf too. We'll put up buckets and hit golf balls.
Eat some ribs with this dude.
You married, Drew?
Yeah.
You got kids?
No.
Okay.
No, he doesn't want them either.
You're planning on having kids, or are you gonna go?
That's why he's got pizza money. He doesn't have kids.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, one day. Yeah, we're ready for kids, but we don't have any.
Maybe you're shooting blanks. Maybe that's why it's not happening.
Maybe.
When's the last time you got your sperm count tested?
It's really hard to count. I tried one time. There's too small.
There it is. All right. I feel like I'm at a jewelry store with my dad. I feel like I'm having a flashback. Seriously. I feel like I'm at a jewelry store. I feel like I'm at a jewelry store as a little kid. Hold on. I'm having a moment. This really happened. I think I'm having a deja vu. I'm at a little Denny, tiny corduroy OP shorts. I'm standing next to my dad. My dad's dripping with Florida gold because he's got his polo open, tucked into his tiny shorts. He's got boat shoes on. My dad's buying gold earrings, dolphins for my mom, and he makes some sort of trying to sperm count joke. And
the jeweler.
And the jeweler
David Lair.
David Lair's cry laughing or high-fiving. Gives him 10% off the... Gives him a discount. There's a time when that would have worked.
I do want to turn into that old real Florida man at the jewelry store. Columbia
you make a
shirt.
good joke, they knock 5% off the bottom line because you made a good joke.
I'm buying some sort of gold jewelry for my old lady, and then we're going to go out on the boat.
You're going to present it to her.
Yeah. And then it's nautical themed, a dolphin,
steering,
ship wheel, something like that.
Treasure chest with maybe a picture of my daughter in the bottom of it.
Then you buy the gold. You just pay cash.
Always cash. My dad had more receipts in his top drawer, his sock drawer. You dig out all the socks. When he died, I could look in there. It was nothing but pink jewelry store receipts where he paid for gold with cash.
Drew, are you in Florida?
Yeah. We talked about it one time. I'm in Davenport.
But we don't listen to you, Drew. You should know that.
Davenport?
Yeah, my God.
What's going on in Davenport?
Oh, don't even come out here. Not worth it. Don't do
okay,
it.
good to know.
What's it got going on there? Every place got something.
Yeah, you got an Applebee's?
Yeah. Just people moving here. It's just nothing but houses and more neighborhoods.
Is there?
I've been out here 8 years and traffic has probably like tripled.
You guys got a Firkin and Keckler? Kegler, what is that thing? You got a freaking Kegler out there? You got a Qdoba? What do you got?
Yeah.
We did get a Chipotle. That's
All
pretty
right.
I got a Chipotle in
Yeah.
Davenport.
That's kind
All
of
right.
basic. You got a Hardee's at least?
We do have a Hardee's.
Okay, get that monster
Ooh.
thick burger.
Back in.
Hey, that's a sign that the place you live in is poor, super poor. I'm sorry. You have a Hardee's in your neighborhood.
They put Hardee's in places where life is hardy.
That's right.
We've had a hardy
They
life.
said it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Had a hard life, eat at Hardee's. You'll shorten it. All right, Drew.
I feel healthy today. Well, better eat some raisin Cinnabons.
That's your time for today. We'll have you on
My
next
God, would
month.
you give them the light?
I do,
Yeah, I did.
before I go, I do have something for you guys. So I told you, like, the winner of this trivia contest, which, by the way, Sam is up on you by 2 points now.
Yeah, we don't
Nah.
care.
I was going to make a trophy for you guys, and you said I need to work on the prize. That's not good enough.
Yep.
So I got a new prize for you. What if I help one of you make a video for TikTok that goes viral?
Do you have any TikTok videos that are viral?
Yeah, I got skills. I can actually prove it to you right now.
All right, go ahead.
Well, now that we're running out of time, hurry up, Drew. Jesus.
yeah, what do you
Real
got?
quick.
Oh, now he's going to do a magic trick or something?
Uh-oh.
What's happening?
Uh-oh, he's taking his own.
No, we can't show this on Twitch.
What he's doing.
Oh, he's taking his panties off like
that?
Tom.
No,
Tom did that. That did nothing.
yeah, Drew, but... You're connected.
cursing in the audio? I couldn't
Yeah,
tell.
we had to edit that, yeah.
Thanks, Drew. Just gave me more work.
I-
You know what? I'm not booking you.
I was
he played a song that said the S word at the end of it, and she's going to have to edit it.
I was ending on a high note. I was
Yeah,
like,
why
I
did he do
think-
that?
Yeah, like
Why?
you ruined it at the end. You ruined it, Drew.
We took it up
You
by
ruined
asking him some questions. We got some banter out of him. Then what does he do? He stands up his green screen. Then his
About to pull his
internet
D.
started S-ing out.
Yeah. Then he takes his underwear off, which I already did on TikTok, which Samantha
Yeah.
pointed out did nothing.
And it's
No.
the things that make it weirder when he goes, it's his delivery when he's like, I can do a TikTok video that goes viral.
I got mad skills,
I got
yo.
bad skills. Want to see it?
Yeah,
Is he a robot?
And he
Yeah,
looks into the camera and then...
you white people are weirdos.
Yes.
I'm with the others. You white people are
with the
creepy
others.
weirdos. All right, bye-bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Sam's here. No Butler.
So we have a guest in studio. I'm pretty interested in talking to this gentleman about poker because I've recently kind of sparked my interest back up in poker and just
I'm actually playing again too lately. It started with our connection to Poker Bros.
Yeah.
And then that went to this new, like, kind of a casino game that I downloaded. I've been playing on Xbox with my daughter because she likes the slot machines. I'm trying to teach her poker. And then this particular gentleman is also starting a YouTube channel, which excites me because I'm learning a little bit more and having some fun with the YouTube.
Yeah, and I'm interested in the strategy behind it, the learning how to play it properly. Anyway, Andy's here. How you doing, Andy?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good. So, Andy, first off, what's your YouTube channel and tell us about it? What's the content?
So it's called 7-Card Flush Poker.
Okay.
I have a YouTube and an Instagram that launched this week. And essentially I'm going to be providing videos that analyze sessions I've played of poker live at casinos and going through hand by hand the action that's happening and what I'm thinking while that action's taking place and how it's kind of adjusting my actions that are going to take place in the hand as well. So it's kind of an analytical vlog, if you will.
Gotcha. So basically you're commenting on a game going on and basically describing like, all right, this is a good move, this is a mistake,
Now, is
this is the best move in this particular position.
Right.
Is
Okay.
this footage from what you're actually playing, or are you setting up a scenario and then walking us through that?
So right now I don't have permission to actually film at the table.
Right,
All
right.
the good vloggers do. So I'm literally like playing cards and taking notes in my phone, and then I go back afterwards and do a video recap of it it, and I've got some graphics that support it as well. So
Cool.
as I'm talking about the hand, you can follow along what's going on in the hand.
Okay.
That's cool, man.
So I want to ask you this question because, like we talked about with Poker Bros and BDMpoker.com,
It's fun.
One of our listeners just won a Tesla, by the way. She took the payout. She didn't take the car because it was better for her or whatever, but like it was legitimate money, and you could do that.
It'd be hard for me not to take the car just so I could drive it around and point to it and
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
I
yeah.
won this.
Yeah,
Like, there's
yeah,
something
yeah.
cool about that.
And
like,
I figure you could resell it for
yeah,
about the same price, but you got to pay
Andrea's
all the
mom-
taxes.
Like Andrea's mom has won 2 cars. She won like a van one time, and then she won like a loaded badass. Remember Grand Ams?
Yeah.
This is like a loaded.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, she took. I think she took one and then took the payout on another one.
Because
but
you gotta
it's cool.
you gotta come out of pocket with like $5 grand
Yeah,
of
the
taxes,
taxes
and stuff
are
and
insane.
tag and title.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
But anyway, so obviously coronavirus and being under quarantine in 2020 created a huge influx of people going online and playing. But it seems like there's 2 different players. There's the I want to go to a table and sit with real humans and play traditional poker in real life. And then there's online, I want to jump into a table and play basically online poker against a bunch of strangers from whoever around the world
right.
and play that way. And it seems like there's 2 different strategies to both games, because if you're online and you're playing a bunch of nameless, faceless strangers, it seems like that strategy is very by the book. And
You play real tight, right?
And it's kind of, you're just playing hands, and then you're playing position, and you're playing the math of how much you should raise and bet per hand and percentages that you have towards winning, right? It's very analytical in that aspect. And when you're playing in real life, although it can be that analytical, it's easier to play the human you're playing against, especially if you know them. But even if you don't, it's kind of, you're playing a little more to like their betting habits, who they are.
Yeah.
Whether this
the human aspect there, you're reading the person.
is this a
too,
pro?
right?
Is this some tourist? Is this a guy, a dilly dad looking to have some fun? That makes a big difference, right? So what's your opinion on that?
So with playing poker online, I've done that before, and I've never been a winning poker player online. And it depends on the site you play on. If you play on Bovada, you're right. It's nameless, it's faceless. You're literally just known as a number, seat 1 through 9, and you're one of those numbers. A lot of the other sites, the European-based sites, so you do have usernames and avatars and stuff like that. And the problem you get into with that is on the computer, there's a lot of pros that are running these analytical programs that study how much money you voluntarily put into a pot, how often you raise, how often you check raise, things like that. And at that point, you're not even playing poker anymore. You're kind of just playing a game of statistics.
Yes, yeah.
And so
Which the professionals really do play. Like all the pros, they know every statistical hand and their statistical advantage and their likelihood of winning and stuff. So they're doing that already.
Correct.
But that's what you have to do online, basically, because there's no other garnering any other advantage, because it's all statistics. You can't see the person. You don't know his background. It's just nameless, faceless, that kind of thing.
Right. It's a lot easier when you're there in person. You can put a face to a player, and you can recognize the dilly dad, or the person that has no idea what they're doing, or the pro, the guy that's wearing the shades and the neck gaiter and has his headphones on and everything. And it kind of helps influence your action based on what you're seeing and what type of player you think they are, versus just a number online.
Gotcha. And it seems like the happy medium, which I've done this as well, because I was playing a local game with a sponsor and his friends, and I was playing in that. And then when Corona happened, we just basically went online, and we were still playing each other. We were just using a forum, basically playing for fun, but we'd Venmo.
Like a private online game.
Your private online game with the same group, and then we just Venmo or PayPal the money and stuff, and then use the chips, and then the winner would get paid out. And that seems like the perfect hybrid, because you're playing your friends and you don't have to go anywhere, and then now you're at your house, you're playing your friends, you know them.
I have buddies that have games like that they've been doing for years, like online games that even started before quarantine, just because they all moved away.
Well, that's the whole Poker Bros platform, isn't it? It's all just private clubs.
Yeah,
basically
like the
friends
BDM,
and stuff.
I enjoy that aspect of it. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, the only difference, and I want to ask you if you think this is true, is that when you're playing online, people's, they're quicker to call and quicker to raise, because for whatever reason they've disconnected
There's less
the
connection
monetary value to the chips, and then when you have those chips in front of you,
I do like holding them, yeah.
and it's tangible. There is
They have more weight.
You're less likely to call or raise
100%.
or call raise a bet because it's like the money that those chips are yours. They've been in front of you. Now you have like a relationship with this. There's got to be some psychology behind that.
Oh,
right?
sure. I'm sure it's like what Dave Ramsey says in terms of spending cash versus credit. It's always harder to part with cash, and so it's a lot easier to click a $50 bet online than it is to count out a stack of $5 chips and have to push that in and realize you may not be getting it back.
Gotcha. So do you go into that at all when you're talking about how players act and their psychology when they play online as compared to like in person, that kind of thing?
So my vlog is going to focus mainly on playing in person.
Okay.
Just because I don't play online very
Gotcha.
much. But I do talk a lot about player types, and a lot of my decisions are made based off of the type of player I'm playing against. And what I didn't realize for years is the pros, they're very rarely actually playing their cards. But rather, they're playing the situation, they're playing the betting patterns, and they're playing the other player. And so that's what I've tried to add to my game lately, is focusing less on what I'm holding and more on what are they holding and what type of player are they and what can I do to get them to either call when I'm ahead or fold when I'm behind.
Gotcha. I want to ask you about tells, and maybe this doesn't really exist anymore, but in the movies and everything, like, you know, people that aren't really familiar with poker, they probably think in their head that other players are looking around at the table, not really judging where they're coming from.
Sucking my pinky.
It's the
I start like really going at my
pay this
pinky
man
if I
his
got
money.
good cards.
What's the Matt Damon
From Rounders.
Rounders, yeah. It's the hey, this guy is eating Oreos a certain way, and that's how I knew that his betting. You know, that stuff. Very rarely do you ever come across, right? Like you could actually see some sort of tick and
Yeah,
study
what do you
their.
think about that?
I just think it's BS. And in the entire history of me playing poker, and listen, I've never done it in any sort of like big. I played tournaments and stuff, but I played a lot of home games and stuff. Nobody's ever, and I met a lot of poker players. They've never really said like they look for, hey, this guy's eye twitched when he made a bet. I could tell he's bluffing, and like that kind of BS.
What do you think?
Well, so there are definitely certain things that will give away.
I'll tell Andy.
No, but
I'll do a YouTube.
No, you were like,
I'm doing my YouTube. Tom Van, how to play poker. Samantha, write it down.
You said, I've never
I'm
seen
fired.
that.
I don't even know why I'm here.
I've never seen
God,
this.
I forgot.
And then I could look at him and tell he was going to disagree with you and say, well, yes, there is something to be said about that. What do you think about that, Andy?
Daniel, you asked me about poker. I'll tell you.
Man.
Sorry.
So, sure, I think it's a little bit exaggerated in the movies, but one tell you can get is in the way a person bets. And the very first video I put out on my YouTube, it was a poker short. It's about one hand, and it's where when I got to the river, I was faced with a bet, and I was trying to figure out, did the guy have a made hand or did he have a draw? And when we got to the river, he bet very quickly, and he bet a very specific size. And from all the poker vlogs I watched, I learned that that's usually a tell that a player is weak. When somebody acts very quickly for a certain size, that's usually weakness. They're trying to appear strong, and it's actually weakness. So I mulled over my decision and ended up calling him. And as a matter of fact, I was right. He was on a missed draw, and I picked that up just simply based on the way that he bet.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting because people's betting habits do tell what they have.
Was it like his bet was a sizable bet, but not quite sizable enough to tip off to you that he had a stronger already made hand?
It was about 2/3 the size of the pot, but more importantly, it was the speed at which it happened. The last card came out, and it was almost instant that he put his chips in.
Like he had pre-planned whatever card that came out, he was going to bet this amount.
And he wanted to look strong because his hand was not made.
That
he was
makes sense.
trying to get me to fold away anything that could possibly beat him, and that's kind of what I picked up on. And I thought about it. I said, I trust my gut on this one, and I made the call. I ended up being right. He had a missed flush draw.
So another thing I find interesting too is like I've played a lot of charity poker tournaments, and when you play charity poker tournaments, you end up playing with people that some don't even know how to play poker, right? So it's the quintessential.
Well, not well, man. I mean, I know the rules.
Rich guy brought his wife and then
he's got
paid
a pocket
2
full
entries.
of buy-ins,
and then
too.
he's playing.
Rebuy.
And then he's letting his wife play because so she has something to do, and she has no idea how to play, and she's like, "Is this good? I don't know. All in. I don't."
Yeah.
And when you're playing a bunch of people that have no idea how to play, almost everything goes out the window at this point.
It takes away your knowledge because they're not playing the way you are,
Yeah, because you could be like, they could think they have nothing and then have a flush or straight. They don't even know, like a full house. They just so it's when you're playing people that don't know how to play, that it's almost like complete luck at that point, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I run into that because I play lower stakes poker. So I'm playing $1, $2 blinds. It's a real small game. I'm not playing at the professional level or anything like that.
But I like that. I think that's kind of unique to your channel too.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
that's the reason I started it was when I got into watching the poker vlogs. All these guys have been doing this for 3, 4, 5 years. So they're playing 5, 10, 10, 20, 20, 40, buying in for $6,000 and $8,000.
Like you're already less intimidating to me, and it makes me want to watch the videos more.
Yeah, I wanted to put out relatable content for regular people who are maybe just kind of trying to get serious about poker or want to better their game, but they need it to be at a relatable level, not at a $6,000 buy-in.
Of course.
Yeah,
well,
can't do that.
anybody listening to this, and even the people on that BDM Poker, they're not going to any poker room and playing 10, 20 cash games. Playing 1, 2, even less than that, like 50 cent.
Yeah, I've never
$1.
even played 1 or 2. So I mean, that to me is big dog poker. I mean,
and even 1, 2, the pots can get up there pretty damn quick.
Sure. Yeah.
You could be $50, $60 pots, and you lose your money fast.
What's the biggest one you've ever taken?
I played about a month ago. I wasn't vlogging that day. I just went to go play. And I ended up making the nut flush. I ended up flopping it against a real loose guy that was just betting into me. And I want to say that pot was about $700 when all was said and done.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's 2 months of a car payment right there to scoop in.
$700 is a lot of money.
So, from what I've read and listened to people talk about, like when you're a pro poker player and you're grinding it out, those guys, like it sounds like super...
Sounds hard.
Oh, well, yeah, it is hard.
Because aren't they playing at weird hours?
Yes.
And
sure. Yeah.
So from what I've garnered from listening, pro poker players, the guys that live out in Vegas or whatever, just play, and that's their main source of income.
We have some listeners that do it.
They just hit up. They know what time that the tourists are playing, or the super drunk people at the end of the night or whatever, and they're spotting tables. They could just sit down and grind out a couple $100 a night through that means, and through playing super tight and doing that. But it's not like this idea of like super lavish celebrity, everything
you do, every time you play a tournament, you're getting bracelets.
It's just you're just at cash games at the Bellagio trying to pick out tourists and try to take their dilly money. It's like in the small increments at a time, and it's grinding it out, and it's day to day, and you probably get burnt out after a while because you're like, screw this. This is like not. I'd rather have a regular job.
Yeah.
Like it. Is that something you've seen too?
Well, so I would never want to play poker for a living. First of all, a good poker player really only wins about 55 to 60% of the time.
Yeah.
And so you have to realize you're going to go in 4 out of 10 times and lose money. And when you're trying to make a mortgage payment or a car payment, you go in there and drop a couple $100. That's tough. So I would never want to rely on poker for an income. That's part of what makes it so fun and why I want to do this channel. Is it's solely a hobby for me.
And it's a hobby for most people. Mm-hmm. Like the people that do it professionally, it's such an anomaly. Like we're talking about half a percent of people that actually play this game. Most of it is just people like myself that want to get better at playing. And what's the number one thing if you're going into like, all right, let's say you're at this level, how to play, I'm guessing it's for the most part like No Limit Hold'em, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm playing. Yeah.
And so you know how to play No Limit Hold'em. You've played at your buddy's game for a couple years, like you're familiar with the game. What do you think a couple tips to that person's expertise level would help their game tremendously?
So I think number one, and you hear the pros talk about all the time, is going to be bankroll management, making sure you have enough money to play. And the recommended bankroll to have is 20 times the max buy-in of the game you play. So at 1-2, the max buy-in out in Orange City is $200. So it's a good bankroll to have would be $4,000. That way you can absorb the swings of poker, the ups and downs. And when I started my vlog, I didn't have $4,000. I had about $800 in my bankroll. But I said, that's okay. All I have to do is not go out and lose my ass a bunch in the very beginning of it. And 4 out of my first 5 sessions were these huge losing sessions of $200 and $300 and $400.
Yeah.
And I remember after the fourth one, I came home. I told my wife, I can't do this. I'm such an idiot. Why did you let me do this? We're trying to buy a house.
That's what we said about the podcasting.
And my wife, Jessica, bless her heart, she supported me the whole time. She said, no, you're passionate about this. You know how to play poker. You can do this. You've got to stick with it. You've got to have this creative outlet. So bankroll management's going to be probably number one. Number two is playing your game. If you're not comfortable with making bluffs, don't make bluffs. And that's something I've worked on a lot in my game recently. I never bluffed. And so that's something I've had to really work on, because bluffing isn't just about putting out a bet and just seeing if it sticks. There are certain ways you can do it and certain sizes you can bet to ensure that your bluff gets through, to make sure that the other people fold.
Yeah,
so,
I've never understood the percentage of, like, let's say what you have to put in to maybe ward off people or to maybe pull somebody in. Like, that's the part of poker that I am ass backwards on.
There's so much more math than I had originally understood it in regards to things like pot odds and something called implied odds, which is what do you think you can make if you hit your hand. And there was so much poker that I was playing where I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just playing the two cards in front of me. So I think the third thing would be making sure you understand all of the math behind poker, because there's just so much of it.
That's probably the hardest part for people, is like just getting into the math. But you can memorize some key like hands and things to play, like all right, these statistically have the best chance, and like really it's not every single hand, like 2-8 is this percentage. You don't have to do that. It's just like if you have two face cards, you know, you have this general chance, and then if that kind of thing. Also, another one I wanted to ask you about that I hear a lot is people have these like supernatural or superstitions with particular hands that they're like, I never play aces because I always lose, or they like, I only play, Jack 10, that's my hand, I always win with that. All nonsense, and people should get out of that, right?
Absolutely, and I'm guilty of that guilty of that as well. Ace Jack is the hand of the devil. I don't know anybody that ever wins holding Ace Jack. Where on the other hand, 10-8 is the nuts. Anybody who plays poker knows that 10-8 is the nuts, and there's nothing statistically or mathematically to back that up. It's just kind of something that I've noticed when I play that hand, I feel I win more.
I want to ask you, how many people check when they have the nuts as a bluff to try to goat other people to bet more? And like, because I feel like that's a move that I'm not sure if it's amateur or pro.
I do that,
but
I think,
it's,
naturally,
and I want to like get your opinion on it. So, for instance, you have aces, the flop comes, an ace hits the board, right? And you're in position, people are checking around to you, and it gets you. You got three aces, I mean, some other garbage cards, no opportunity for a flush or whatever, and then you like, I probably got the nuts on this. Do you bet so that, and then as a possibility, everybody getting scared away and folding, or do you check hoping that someone gets a card and then they start betting, and then you obviously you could get all their money, like that's an often scenario that I find myself in, that I'm like, what's the right move in that position?
So it's going to depend so much on not only the action of the table, but the board that you describe. So you say that, you have aces and there's an ace on the flop. Well, what else is out there? Is there also a king and a 10 putting a straight draw out there? Is the flop, all clubs, putting a flush out there? It really depends on how the board comes out, to where if it's a safe board, let's say the flop is ace 6 deuce, so there's no real straight draws, there's no flush draws. Yeah, I can check that hand and wait and let somebody make a mistake and bet out. But if the flop is ace 10 8 with 2 clubs, well, now we have a flush draw on the board, there's possible straight draws, and I don't know if I necessarily want to give somebody a free card to let them catch up.
Gotcha. Yeah. Basically, you're betting so that no one sees that other card at that point, because you're like, if someone hits it, they're going to beat me, and then I'll lose my money.
Yeah, you're either protecting your equity or you're checking to get that free card, because maybe your hand is so nutted that you want them to catch up a little bit. But with trip aces, maybe you want somebody with queens or kings to hit their queen or king so that they also have trips, but you'll have the better trips hand. Really just depends on the texture of the board.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, I think everybody should try to get better. If I know a lot of people that play poker for 10 years and never looked up a book or anybody advice or whatever. They just know how to play it, and they're so dead set in the way they've been playing. But they're probably playing it horribly, and they're they're probably playing it the way that you're not giving your best chance to
Well,
win.
especially if it's a hobby for you. So I admire what you're doing, and I admire the fact that you're adding like the video component to it. And good luck with it, man. I hope you get to add the ability to film at the. Now, how does that work? How do you acquire the ability to film at the table where people are okay with that? Because that's kind of interesting too.
So you have to work with card room management to get that permission, and most poker vloggers don't actually show anybody else's face at the table. So you put your camera on one of those stands real low on the rail, so that really it's only picking up your hand as you're exposing it in front of the camera and maybe the chips, but you're not really seeing anybody else's face. And that's kind of the big thing you have to do in this, is you can't be showing other people because not everybody wants to be filmed.
Right.
But you just have to work with card room management.
It's pretty cool that they would be willing to, and I guess as things.
I mean, they'll look at probably as promotion for the card room too. It's
But
like,
I remember not
people.
even 7 years ago when you and I were in Vegas, just having a microphone. People were like, "What are you doing?" You know, like.
Well, casinos are real weird about all that stuff too.
Yeah.
Because it's cheating.
It's weird. Some casinos and card rooms have really picked up and recognized the power of vloggers on YouTube and stuff, and they welcome them in.
There'll be a shift for sure.
I was at the Hard Rock in Tampa last night playing. And the second you take your phone out, people have eyes on you. And they are not quite as open to that whole vlogging lifestyle yet and having people film at their tables. It's kind of awkward, kind of weird.
Yeah. It'll all change as this becomes more, prevalent. I mean, it has to. I mean, that's just the way it's going to go.
Yeah. Last thing too, because if you get to a final table and you're playing heads up with someone, people don't realize how much the game changes when you're playing heads up, and there's literally books just about heads up poker and how
I don't know how to play it.
And
I
how
every time I get to, like lately I've been playing and I don't know what I'm doing, but lately I'll get to, I'm okay with certain things. I'll get to the end and it'll be like me and one other guy.
Yeah, that's what I mean by heads up.
No, I know.
You and,
No, I know. And I have the most amount of chips, and then undoubtedly the last 3 times I've done this, I've always been second because I just don't know what to do.
Your strategy changes a little bit, right?
Well, sure, and so I guess you're referring to more tournament style poker.
Yes,
and that tournament style, I'm terrible. There's a tournament series that started Wednesday out at the Hard Rock. It's the big World Poker Tour tournament series they're doing out there, and everybody's going out to play. The tournament that launched Wednesday was a $500 entry, $1 million prize guarantee. And for $500 to win would essentially be about $300K for first place. It's just, as a poker player, I felt like I had to go play the tournament, but at the same time, I don't play tournaments. It's a completely different structure from playing cash games.
You can vlog about it though.
But it seems like a lot of luck involved in tournaments. Like
absolutely, yeah.
You gotta have a lot of good luck and some hands to be able to get to a certain point. And then if you ever get to a sizable chip lead, then you're in good position. But if you don't, you're done.
Well, anybody that watches this vlog is going to realize I don't have any luck. And you're going to see that in episode 1. Oh, cool. You'll see it again a little bit in episode 3. So episode 1 dropped today at noon. So it's out there now on YouTube.
Cool. Plug it one more time. So
7 Card Flush Poker. The number 7 Card Flush Poker. You can find me on YouTube and you can find me on Instagram.
Awesome. Cool. Andy, thanks so much for coming in. Man. If you want to stay for some pizza, we got a bunch of
and we're going to go eat pizza. Bye-bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha's here. Butler's still on vacation.
Man, that guy, lucky.
Still on
Where is he this time?
I don't know. Somewhere exotic, probably getting into some trouble, smoking weed, making his wife mad.
So I love interviewing people from other podcasts.
You do?
Just because I love hearing how they started, like what they do with it now. Like, is it their job?
I have found podcast people to be super creative and super kind.
Yeah.
Most of the podcast people that we run into are extremely nice. And our next guest, this particular gentleman, has a podcast that I think kind of might fall into a category that our producer Samantha seems to enjoy way more than she should, being as paranoid as she is.
And hopefully we'll be doing more of these because we just started a relationship with Pod TV.
Yep.
Which is an app that kind of puts together all podcasts that have video components.
Yeah.
So it's a free app. You can get it on any platform. Just search Pod TV. We're on there. But you can go and watch a variety of different podcasts.
Yeah, if it says Pod TV and you see a little television logo and it's orange, you're in the right spot.
And one of those podcasts is called Even the Podcast is Afraid, and it's hosted by a couple people, but one of them is on the line with us, Jared Ortis. How you doing, Jared?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Good. So Jared, how did you start the show? What's the story behind it?
Oh, well, I started podcasting back in 2019, actually, and it started on Twitch. I was actually gaming on Twitch for about a year and a half, doing horror games, and I always wanted to do a podcast. So I decided I started a show called Talking Trash with Ortis, and had different people on and interviewed mainly friends. And then not long after that, started another show called Story Time, and it incorporated another person that I gamed with who is also a co-host currently on Even the Podcast is Afraid, Nick Borchetta. And we started talking about crime and cults and the paranormal. And then we added another show called Pasta Time, where we talked about creepy pastas from the internet. And basically by episode 21, there was 3 shows in one feed, and I was like, fuck it, let's turn it into Even the Podcast is Afraid, and created one show instead of 3 shows. It was confusing as shit.
Yeah, we should probably do that. Like, we should probably take all of our shows and combine them into one weekly 14-hour show.
Well, we kind of do this with our video feeds.
That's true, yeah.
Speaking, like, our video feed is all the shows because it's just us recording that day. So some of it is ACT, some of it is AMT. So it's kind of similar, although, they're all separated. Now, when you said I started podcasting in 2019, this is interesting because a lot of times we talk to people that started around when me and Daniel started, which is 09.
09.
And we always have this question, like, if you start
this is interesting
relatively later.
Yeah, I'm glad that you started in 2019.
Did you get a lot of like crossover audience from your Twitch channel? Like, what was building your audience like?
I did get some crossover, obviously, from the Twitch channel, because when I first started, I was doing it live on Twitch. And then after about 5 or 6 episodes in, I said, nah, I'm not going to do that anymore. And yeah, some people did come over from that. And then, some people I just lost in the dust from leaving gaming. And mainly most of the stuff came from, we had joined a network early on, and that helped build us. Social media presence, really. I'd already had a social media presence, and I was able to push out what we were doing in the shows, which I'm still currently doing. That was mainly the actual growth, and then looking for opportunity, getting on other people's shows, talking to interesting individuals or people, seeing new companies like Pod TV. Like, we are on there as well. Our TV show is exclusive to Pod TV.
Nice.
And I just shot the shot. I was like, here, let's give this shit a shot and see if we make it. And we were able to get on there, and it's been great.
Yeah, it's interesting because me and Daniel are so jaded. And by the way, Jared, we'll air this on terrestrial radio. This is bizarre because I feel like he telling you that is telling you, like, for no reason. You're like, who cares about terrestrial radio? We can't curse out of it. So
just so you know, I have my friend Bobby. He's writing this all down, and he will be mailing this to different friends that he has. He'll be mailing them transcripts of everything you're saying. So please mind your tone, good sir.
Because it's because you started your independent media and with
no restrictions.
With Twitch and no restrictions.
Yeah.
We're old men radio guys that we still have a radio component to our show for no reason, really.
For no reason.
No.
For
no
reason
so
whatsoever.
Old Florida redneck grannies listen to us? I have no idea.
We still take breaks, and I don't know why.
We're doing a lot of things for no reason. Anyway, so we have to, if you could just use you say F word. Sorry,
you're fine. You're fine.
I hate
curse words from here on out.
But it's all good. Even if you do, we bleep it out. It's just more work. But so back to like content wise, because your category of your content seems to be like the most popular content,
or one of, if not.
I don't know. What do you think? Do you think this is sports? Like, what do you think in the podcast world? Seems like
I know the answer.
Okay,
I know that the answer is number one would be. This is recent. So if you want to go recent, your most popular is and I don't know if he really falls under the category, but more of your true crime.
Yes.
Okay.
Your unsolved.
True crime would be number one.
Right,
Yeah.
That's your number one. Number two, believe it or not, is business. Now, we don't think
Yes.
about that. Just
Really?
standard generic business. And then I believe number 3 coming up would be 3 and 4 would be either self-help or cooking, believe it or not, because of the pandemic.
Ah, okay. So that
But they change all the time. But normally, this one is one of your top dogs. Your unsolved crime, your true crime, your mystery, your horror. Those are extremely popular categories.
So, Jared, like you not only talk about like unsolved crime, and you talk about also like fictional horror, and then like paranormal stuff,
The
like
cults, demons, the occult.
So, where like do you kind of go over everything in one show? Do you pick a topic and that's the one show?
Basically, what we do, we have a researcher and writer for the show, Stephanie Kimmerer. She actually goes through and researches and writes, and we typically, with our series, we break them up. So currently, we are doing a series on the Manson family. So it's going to be a 3-part series. Part 1 has already come out. Part 2 will come out on Monday. But prior to that, we had done the Men in Black. So we were doing the conspiracy behind aliens and these secret government entities that, come to you because you've seen aliens. We do series typically. Sometimes we have some one-off episodes, like, or we try to do some one-offs on maybe some serial killers or something that you haven't seen, like Bella Kiss, who was during World War I, was a serial killer who was pickling young girls behind his house in barrels.
My God, like literally putting their bodies.
At least he was pickling them, and were they sweet?
Yeah, preserving.
Were they sweet pickles, or were they like a semi-sour or a dill?
It was probably the invention of kosher.
Yeah, not good, man. That's bad.
And how did your researcher find this?
I don't know. Stephanie sent it to me and just said, "Hey, have you ever heard of this serial killer?"
You ever heard of my grandfather? He's, oh man, I got some stories.
So you know how there's Wikipedia?
Yeah.
There's also a thing called Murderpedia, where you can research all kinds of different murders.
We certainly
and
need
killers.
the Murderpedia. That's a necessary invention. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Andrea, go get the Murderpedia.
Jared, okay, I'm going to ask you and Samantha.
Is it like a world book? Can you order them from a salesman?
It's just a website.
Samantha is our producer, and she is into
Oh,
true
yeah.
crime, murder, everything. Like
Yes.
that's
One
her
day she'll-
favorite thing in the world. I
One day
think.
she'll murder us, and then TikTok, the whole thing comes
I'm
complete.
like, how much do you like murder? It seems like a weird thing.
There
to
are a lot
like.
of people out there. They're like, "Yo, dude, I'm so into murder."
So, do you like it? Are you afraid of it? I don't.
No,
I don't understand.
Both.
Anyway, but so Jared, like, and I'll ask Samantha too. When you talk about this and consume this content a lot, does it do anything to you where you're just like, man, I have to, like, have some sorbet, like
a
palate cleanser. Like, I have to get away. I have to watch some ridiculous romantic comedy that's garbage just so I can.
You've got mail.
Something like that. I mean,
I don't know about you, Jared, but for me, for whatever reason, if it's a podcast, I don't. But if I'm watching like a documentary,
okay.
yeah, then I have to like watch something else.
With our show, we are considered true crime comedy. So typically what we do is, we may read about something terrible, but then all of a sudden we're going to turn it into something that we're going to laugh about. It's kind of like, it almost is a palate cleanser, because when you're listening to us, it's like, we just talked about some really bad stuff, but at the same time, we're also giving you something to laugh about, and it may pertain to what we just talked about or in some form. Never making fun of the victims or anything like that.
I was going to ask, because
you got killed.
Yeah, for sure.
You got killed the F out.
I listen to a few like comedy true crime podcasts as well. Do you get any like negative feedback about that? Because a lot of them do, of like, having comedy when there are people that have been murdered, basically.
I've never got any negative feedback.
Man, you're lucky.
I've never got any negative feedback from it. We have some pretty devoted listeners, and they really like the content. And we dick and fart jokes is like the funniest part to me.
Yeah.
And like one of the shows that really got me amped to really get started podcasting was Last Podcast on the Left, and I absolutely love them. And that they will say whatever. And we do the same thing. Obviously, my podcast is explicit because I cuss like a sailor. But the beauty behind the comedy part is that I like to be funny as well. I don't want to always be serious when talking about that topic. There is sometimes, though, that we do get into serious conversation. And I can only think of one series that we've done that has made all three of us actually have to take a break from recording, and that was when we did Fred and Rosemary West series.
What is that?
They were a serial killer couple in the United Kingdom.
And it was just like so far
Heinous.
what they did. Yeah.
Dealt with kids.
Oh, yeah. We're both like newer dads. So, yeah, we probably have to
I have
excuse
two
our...
boys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's a little... It's funny because I wouldn't say it's good for anybody, but, yeah, when you have a child, sometimes I think you can have to excuse yourself for that by splashing water in your face and carry on.
We had to step away from anger. I was actually angry because I didn't know anything about the case. So that's what makes it really interesting is that when Stephanie does the research and the writing for the show, a lot of times we go in completely blind. So when we hear something for the first time, we're like, wow, really? And so you get this real reaction from us actually going through the case for the first time.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's kind of like us. We do very little preparation. So everything that happens that's funny on the show is completely spontaneous. And I was screwed. Yeah, I also had a joke about how we're also a comedy true crime, but we're petty true crime because we're constantly trying to either steal money from our listeners or invent some sort of scam.
So, Jared, I want to ask you first about UFOs, and then second about
Way to go broad.
your business. No, but because I was literally talking to Samantha before the show started, and I was listening to another podcast, and they're bringing up like the fact that there's this
You got to read the documents, bro.
new
It's in
information
the documents.
about UFOs, like that
Yeah.
the
They're
Navy.
basically confirming that there are UFOs.
Yeah, the military's confirmed like these are unidentified flying objects. We have no idea what they are, and that's all. You know,
Well, that's right.
that's the truth.
That's not good enough for me because that's like when I get in an argument with my wife and I'm like, well, you're wrong. And she's like, well, what is it then? And I'm like, I don't have an answer for you.
Right.
But you're wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you
But
can't
yeah.
do that.
It's
That's not a valid
It's
thing.
a step into the direction of them admitting, like
Like
never,
there's stuff out there we don't know about.
they've never admitted that
Yeah.
before, and
Right.
Well, they had to because now we know how poorly run the whole thing is.
Yeah.
After the 6th, we kind of knew that,
You're
this
like,
is
how'd
held
you let that-
Oh, wow, this is held together about as good
the
as...
horn guy is stealing your desk.
Yeah. If they're walking around...
Like, how'd you
yeah.
let that happen?
Yeah, he's
My
waving a
God.
flag, he's beating the guy. Yeah.
I thought you had guns.
And then what's the knee jerk? The knee jerk is, well, release the documents because they know that we're not organized anymore. It's kind of like us.
So, Jared, do you know anything about this? Because I started becoming like curious. Like, well, what did they see? And all because
Who read it and pulled out the good stuff? Jared, did you read it?
I haven't read it completely, but I do believe in UFOs, and I do think that the military has kept hush-hush on it, our U.S. government, due to the fact that I think it also, if you were to say that aliens exist, it also would then put a niche or a knock within religion. So people would then start questioning Christianity.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Well,
I mean,
but it shakes the social structure and
yes,
it could
it does.
send us into a global tailspin, and we're pretty close.
Go for it.
Well, what
right?
if God made the aliens too? That would be my argument. I'm an
Then-
atheist.
but that's not in the Bible, so
Well, nothing's in the Bible. If you want to go
the
by what,
Scientologist got it right.
if you want to go by what's in the Bible and contradict that, I mean, it's
What if
completely
the
debunked.
Now, hold on. What if the aliens made God?
Ah.
Now,
That's possible.
now, Drew.
Thank you, Drew. Or,
Wow.
What did we both call him,
Wow.
Drew?
Sorry, Drew.
That was our-
Thank you.
That was 2 guests ago.
I told you 2 weeks ago I'd follow you to hell, and
Yeah, you did, yeah.
And back in the day,
both
I
call
got
Jared.
Jared. I got to tell you something. Can I call you Drew, Jared? Years ago, when I quit my job, they sat us in a room and said that I was nothing more than a mindless parrot, and I would follow you to hell. And it's been proven countless times on this show.
You know what? Chris Kampmeyer was right.
He was right.
I apologize.
Yeah,
though.
thank you. I'm sorry, Linda Bird. I'm sorry, Chris Kampmeyer. You were right. I am a nameless, faceless parrot.
So, Jared, do you believe that the unidentified flying objects that the military saw are actually some alien from a different planet? Or do you, I mean, because they
Yeah, what do
confirmed
you
they're
think?
unidentified, it would make more sense that they would be some sort of experimental aircraft from another country or something like that. Although
satellite drone,
if we don't have that technology, most likely other countries don't. So it's like that's
Oh, we totally have it. We're not talking about
if it was testing aircraft, the government would never release it because therefore they know what it is. They don't want it out to the public. So here's the other interesting one. I'm sure y'all seen the video from the Navy with the flying Dorito.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. Yeah, I love that one. Our listeners loved it too because they're mostly fat.
That's true.
Yeah, they were like, yes, finally a snack I can get behind.
Dorito overlords.
Yeah.
To me, they wouldn't release that. And there's nothing that I can think of really that is shaped perfectly like a triangle that flies.
Yeah,
So-
no, yeah. To our knowledge of physics, that
Right.
doesn't exist.
Right.
Now, but Jared, I want to open my mind and believe things because I'm very close-minded in the fact that I'm stuck in this curmudgeon. There's no way to live, by the way.
I'm glad Jared's on the
it's
show.
It's not fun.
Apparently, Jared, he loves you, and you break down his tough exterior.
Anything I see on the internet that my wife shows me, I scream is fake, and she gets mad at me. Every time I see a magician do anything, I'm figuring out how to do it.
You hate memes. I sent you a meme last night. I bet you looked at it, got mad at it.
I don't believe in anything.
No.
Like it's literally nothing. I just logic, science. But if you even go that route, there is an unidentified flying object that the military admitted they saw and then released the video of it, right? And
Several of them now.
Yeah.
and it makes logical sense, like you said, Jared, that if they knew what it was, if it was an experimental craft, they would never release it. Like, they've probably taken that experimental other countries' craft off the list, and they just said unidentified,
Yeah, that's exactly what they did.
Yeah,
that makes totally sense to me. They're like, that's identified as a North Korean duct tape drone. It's good to go. We flagged that one. We know they shouldn't have been here. We know what that is. We'll handle that behind the scenes.
Yes,
Here, have a little fun.
So
Dropping their popsicle stick bombs.
So all logic kind of does not point towards experimental aircraft and then points towards a true unidentified flying object. So then if you want to go into like this is coming from a different planet, a different species, the alien, whatever, I always go to why would they do flying down and even allow themselves to be videotaped with that?
It's Alien Teen joyriding his dad. Seriously,
right.
I've always thought
Wanna do
Alien
hood
Teen
rat stuff.
is Alien Teen Lateral Martin, I think that kid's name is, driving his dad's Dorito down to Earth to fly.
Dorito.
Yeah, he's riding it down.
Jared, I'm sure you do too. You're listening to like Neil deGrasse Tyson talk about like whether or not he believes aliens have visited the planet, and he basically goes through the logic of if they have the technology to get here, that means they're so far advanced than us. Why would they need to fly into our atmosphere to what? Look at us for what reason? They're so advanced they were able to travel intergalactically to a different universe, which means their intelligence is so high they could probably easily view us from afar.
It's that's the problem there.
Well,
Yeah, 'cause we don't know.
Yeah, but the logic being, why the hell would they even fly into our atmosphere to what? To examine us for what reason?
There's a huge conspiracy theory out there, and this is why it would put a hiccup within religion. So if aliens were to exist and they said, yes, we have a Martian or extraterrestrial, we've autopsied it or whatever, there's the theory that people believe that Earth and human beings were created by extraterrestrials. There's 6,000 more galaxies out there. There's got to be other life. We can't be the only planet that has life. And then you've got to look at too, there's also the other theory of dinosaurs were created by extraterrestrials, and that they wanted to get rid of the dinosaurs and wipe them out, so they took them out and then started over. We're basically a farm, essentially.
And we're the better
They're just
dinosaurs?
checking in on us, and they're like, yep, they're still messing it up down there.
Yeah, like we're essentially some sort of planet.
Weird experiment.
We're their testing planet, and we're round 2 of the dinosaurs.
And then you...
And it's like an Etch-a-Sketch. When the dinosaurs go away, you shake it up, right?
It's an interesting theory.
All right.
Listen, Jared, you got me. Even the podcast is afraid. It's on Pod TV. You could find your podcast everywhere, right?
Yeah, it's everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, you name it, we're there.
Beautiful.
Cool.
Hey, man, thanks so much for the time. Let's do it again, and then maybe we'll try and make it so whatever you guys are kind of touching on, maybe you can pop in, tease it on our show, and we'll start pushing people over to you guys for the real deal, okay?
Hey, that sounds great. Thank you, Tom, Dan, and Sam. I appreciate it.
All right,
no problem.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Jared.
Tell your team we said hey, all right?
I will.
Later, man. Be good.
See ya.
Oh, see, podcast people are super nice.
I know, and they're look how professional. He's like, he named all our names. We got his name wrong. So
Oh my God.
I'm so sorry,
That's
Drew.
right in front of you.
I think we're
Drew,
the laughing
I'm
stock.
so sorry.
Wait, I gotta write this down because this is one of the subjects for the best of end of the year awards, getting people's names wrong.
No.
Yeah, we did it.
You did it. You
just
did
made
it
me
on
mad.
accident.
You're so worried about these end of the year awards that you're creating categories now, and I'm like, oh God, we gotta say it right. I'm like, oh, you got his name wrong. Oh, you're a regular Mike DeGrasse Tyson. Has anybody made that shirt? Mike DeGrasse Tyson?
Oh yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha's here, and this is cool, man.
Yeah, it is
This is
cool.
really, really neat.
And this is something that happened literally, totally organically, and it all started in my living room. When you see what happens next. So my wife's on the line.
What line is she on?
Line one, I
one.
think.
There she is.
Crystal Van, are you there?
Hi, I'm here.
All right. So I'm saying that because she's
normally-
representing the Bart Merrick team.
Correct, yeah.
And this
Let's
has...
be professional here, sir.
And so, babe, let's start off with that night in the living room.
Okay,
You
hold
were-
on now.
Huh?
Okay. I don't know where this is going.
When you were starting to list one of your clients' houses. So let's talk about that because you were telling me that it was sad that this lady was having to sell her house, and let's go into that.
Yeah, so Bart and I met with this woman in DeBerry who was referred to us by our listener group. I don't know, what show is this? Can I say it was by a BDM who referred her to me?
Yeah.
Corporate time?
Yeah, you're fine.
I never know.
I know.
Anyway, we went and met with her. She was so nice. She has a couple of kids. She owns this home. She's owned it for just a few years. And she had some string of bad luck in just her short term of ownership there. And she told us that the only reason she was listing her house was because her insurance company was dropping her policy unless she got a new roof put on. She had no leaks in her roof. She had nothing wrong with her roof, but it was just due to the age that the insurance company wanted her to get a new roof.
Yeah.
So she called like 6 or 7 different insurance companies. She couldn't get anybody to budge, and she couldn't afford to put a new roof on. So she's like, well, I'm not allowed to have it uninsured. Obviously, she has a loan. Your lender's not going to allow you to have it uninsured. So she just decided the only thing she could do was sell it and then rent.
Yes.
And so Bart and I were like, it just sucks because she has multiple jobs. She's a single mother, and she's going to sell the home that she owns and go rent something. And rent is so expensive now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just felt so bad. Like, is there something that we can do? I'm typing in all the information to the MLS. Like, I hate doing this. I just felt really bad about it. You know, I didn't want to almost didn't want to be a part of it. I don't want to list this poor lady's house and she's got to sell it for this terrible reason.
Yeah, because in an
and
odd
then
way,
she's going to go rent.
Yeah, in an odd way, she's being forced to take the lesser of the good thing. The dream for most people is to own the house. To have to give that up and then go back to renting is not necessarily something anybody wants to do.
And Crystal was telling me this in the living room, and I remember, like, man, that sucks because I know the market. I'm like, well, she could probably, sell high, but her rent is going to be higher than her mortgage.
Yeah.
So she's going to be, she sells her house, she's going to be renting, and she's never going to be able to probably buy another house unless she was able to save up a tremendous amount of down payment,
Sure.
which obviously she's struggling to do, or she would buy a new roof. I was like,
of course.
Man, and I was like, this sucks. And
Yeah,
so
this is not a good scenario.
And I remember Crystal was like, yeah, and she's a single mom, and she's got multiple jobs, and like, and like I said, this is where this client was referred to Crystal from a BDM, so it's outside of our BDM world.
So it's his fault.
No, well,
okay, that's a joke.
And so we didn't know this person personally, and we're not saying their name because they didn't ask for what's about to happen, and I didn't say, hey, we're gonna talk about you, and I have never even met this person.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Babe, I appreciate you being not only a good person because you are at heart. Because I feel like if this could have been another realtor, they would have just listed their house for sale and not said a thing, because that's their job. It's like, list my house. Why I'm selling it is my business. Your job is just to list it.
I'm actually wondering why your wife didn't just throw this up there
because you couldn't
as quick as humanly possible.
But she was like, this. I feel bad for this person. And when you were telling me the story, I was like, this sucks. Like, it sucks for this person to have to do this, and it could be a turning point where it's like now you're a renter forever and you're not ever able to buy a new house
It's
in the future.
definitely
It's like
a huge step down. Sure.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to make assumptions about her future or what she would have been a renter forever or not or whatever.
Of course,
I don't know what would have happened, but these kind of events, like, they can drastically change the course of a person's life. And if you're a homeowner and then at the end of your 30 years you've paid yourself, she's working those multiple jobs to pay her mortgage and to pay her bills and to support her family, and then you go and you rent, and now you're working multiple jobs to pay somebody else's mortgage, and then at the end of the 30 years or whatever, you've made their life better and not your own. It just sucked that I don't know. I just felt really bad the reason that she's sort of being forced to sell her house because she didn't have a mountain of cash.
And if you're negative like me, then you can assume that the place she would rent, the owner of that would come in the day after she moves in and replace the roof on that place just to make her feel bad. Right? Right.
Well, not to make her feel bad, but yeah.
Well, right. That's just Murphy's Law, I'm saying. The dice roll is something would happen to make her feel even worse, more worse. So is this the story? Well, this is great, guys. Great job. Thanks so much for being on.
And she was forced to sell her house.
Is that
the end. No. So, all right, babe, we're going to talk to Rick from Secured Roofing now because we'll take up the second part of the story, but I do appreciate you being such a good person, and
I appreciate your stunning beauty.
And yes, I appreciate that too.
I appreciate your figure.
I love you, babe.
Listen, wait, can I just tell you about my beauty?
Yeah.
A young high school kid told his high school friend yesterday that I look like Debbie Downer from SNL, and I was so upset.
How did you find this out?
Why would you include that in this?
You don't look like Debbie Downer.
You don't look like that actress. What's that
You
lady?
said I was
Rachel
beautiful.
Dratch?
You do not look like Rachel Dratch.
Listen,
Well, this high schooler thought I did.
all white
Anyway.
people look the same.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's true. That's true. You catch any white woman
Yeah.
with limp hair, she looks like Rachel Dratch every day.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
All right, I appreciate you. I appreciate you all as well, and I hope you all have a great day.
All right.
All right.
Black don't crack.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
I
still don't know what we're doing here.
Okay, I'll explain.
Maybe
Is your
really
wife
sorry.
hanging out with
Rick.
high school
Yeah,
kids?
you
What's
made me
going
really
on over
sad.
there?
If you're just tuning in, so we have a lady that was forced to sell her house, and high school kids think your wife looks like Rachel Dratch.
dropping the boys off at the summer
And
sports
Rick doesn't
camp.
even know why he's here.
I know. And I forgot to tell Rick park out front. He goes to the back. He's asking our neighbor.
Yeah, and
he's like, I'm here for
his truck just got towed, and they're putting a new roof on it.
So, Rick, how you doing?
Great.
So basically, we're sitting in a living room, and Crystal's telling me the story, and she's like, "Man, I have to list this lady's house because I told her I was going to list it."
Yeah, that's so bittersweet, dude. That sucks.
And then I said, "Wait a minute, don't list her house yet. Just tell her that we're going to do it in the morning, but I need to ask and send an email because maybe, just maybe." like one of our clients can help because I was like, Secured Roofing's a great company.
Yeah. New client of ours this particular year, last year, really.
Yeah, and we've talked to the owner on the air before.
We have indeed.
And and he was talking about how he wants to set himself apart from
you
other
had some stuff that happened
companies.
to your house, so you've
yeah,
been
I
handling
recently
that.
talked to Rick. He's handling my roof because of my hail damage and everything. So I'm in the process. I know the company. They've been a great client of ours. So I'm like, it's worth an email. Like, I don't know what they could do. Maybe they could cut her a break or
well,
a
they're in the
payment plan.
roofing business. That's one step closer to a solution than us.
I was going to call Gringos, but then I was like, no, they can't do nothing with time.
Maybe they can slather her roof with queso.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe AC? I don't know.
But it is funny because a lot of times you are afraid to even ask because the question I would ask, and I know this is probably how you approached it, is like, hey, is there anything at all that can be done? Or do you know anybody?
Exactly.
Secured Roofing, does Rick and his guys and everybody there, could they possibly point us in the correct direction?
Yes, yeah. And that's what I figured. It's worth an email, and then maybe if they are like, we maybe can or like can't, I don't know. I'm at least going to send the email, wait to list her house till the morning. So next morning, I send an email to Secured Roofing, just like explaining the situation. Like
Rick fires back an email. Who?
Who are you?
Tom Van. No. I'm the raccoon guy. And he's like, oh, raccoon guy. I know that guy.
So I basically explained the situation in the email. I'm like, this single mom in DeBerry. She's got multiple jobs. She's gonna have to sell her house because she can't afford a roof. And that's literally the only reason.
Yeah.
Because I did think, I was like, well, if there's other reasons and this is just one part of it, then it doesn't matter. It's like, but, and literally Bart Merrick talked to her and like, nope, this is the only reason she's selling her house. So I explained it in an email, and the people from Secured Roofing, including Rick, the owner, everybody, they email me back, and they're like, absolutely, we will see what we can do. We'll tell her not to list her house yet, and we'll see what we can do. Now that's what I got. Like at first, I was like, all right, there's a chance.
They'll look into it. Yeah,
there's a chance. So Rick, thank you. Sorry for making you sit through all this. But Rick,
he left his car running.
I'm sorry,
the guy's busy putting roofs on, man.
I'm actually enjoying myself.
Well, we appreciate it, and thanks for taking the time, man.
Yeah, no problem.
SecuredRoofingAndRestoration.com. So Rick, explain what happened next, because what you guys have offered to do is unbelievable, and I really appreciate it. But let's start from the beginning.
Well, you did send the email over.
Yeah.
And they reached out to me and they said, Rick, why don't you go out there and check it out, see if there's something we can do for this lady.
Okay.
Because we're about giving back to people. It's not always about making money, man. We need the people involved. You know what I mean? And giving back is just a great karma that comes back to you. Life,
Yeah,
that's true.
So I went out there, I took a look at it, and she definitely had an old roof.
Hence the reason why her insurance company, and they're doing that nowadays, like your homeowner's insurance will contact you if your roof is over a certain age, no matter what the condition. It's like
that was mine on the old house.
Yeah, they say you have to change it, right?
They got new laws and regulations that they've been passing lately, and there's even more to come. But those are one of the things that they have been doing is sending out letters to customers that have roofs from like 10 to 15 years old saying that, you got to get them changed or they basically don't want to cover you.
Gotcha.
And she so happened to fall within that predicament there.
Yeah, so she had an older roof, but it wasn't like leaking or anything. It was just real old.
Yes, it was just real old, And if a good hurricane was to come through here, a good serious windstorm or something, it'd probably damage it even more.
Sure.
And that even made it worse on her, So with them telling me that, we want to help this lady out, see what we can do, I went out there, and that's my forte. I'm always out to help people out.
Yeah.
I went out there, I looked at it, and it was definitely something we can do to help her out.
And so, and I'll take it over from here because Secured Roofing and Restoration is putting on a new roof for this lady.
That's so cool, man.
So that she can stay in her house, and they're doing it completely free. And
wow.
And so
that's amazing. Thank you guys so much, man.
She was blown away. She couldn't believe it herself.
Yeah, and that's the best. I mean, that's
And by the way, I want to mention that I'm telling this story, and this wasn't even something like Secured Roofing is like, hey, we'll do it as long as you. They didn't even really. I had to push for Rick to come in here because Rick's a busy guy. He just signed a deal for a BDM's roof.
The beautiful part is that it would have been one of those lovely. The lady needed help. She got help. Nobody knew about it, and life goes on. And those are the real ones. Those are like the real little special miracles and moments, are the ones that you're not doing it because you want people to know you did it.
And that's what they were going to do. And I was like, no, we got to talk about this for a variety of reasons.
What makes us happy?
Well, one is because I want to tell people how good of a company Secured Roofing and Restoration is. And another is I think putting it out there, it helps the world.
It's a good story,
because they recognize this this issue, and they're like, you know what, we're gonna help this person, and that's good, man. Like in a world full of horrible internet stories and stuff, like good things are happening. We just gotta talk about them.
Well, you do have to recognize them because we all know this. Like, you know me almost better than anybody. Maybe Andrea might beat you out. But you know for a fact that the negative things are the things that we all stick on, right? Those are the ones that linger in our minds. And if we tilt our mindset just a little bit and start lingering on some of these positive things like this story, then maybe the world wouldn't seem to be quite that bad of a place.
Yeah. And I haven't even spoke to this person.
I don't know her name. Like, I know very little. I know other than Secured helping her out. That's about really, and that's fine. That's all I need to know.
I did,
because that's her business too, and I respect that.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like,
that's her business.
I didn't want to have the person on and be like,
no, there's no need.
Tell her what radio station.
The best
tell the world what radio station.
Well, we came from that world where it used to be like that. The best one that I liked, and you've been a part of these, where they're like, okay, and put her kid in front of the camera. All right. Oh, her kid's about to cry. Get it on the microphone. And it's like, no, don't do that.
She was like, what's the catch to this?
Right. Of course, I thought about that. Like, this lady's going to think she's being scammed.
I was like, there's no catch.
Yeah.
So I made her sign a contract for $0.
If this was Samantha, she would be like, get off my property. 100%. She would never believe it's possible. Because I did think about this. I was like, wonder what this lady thinks. She's like, she goes to sell her house, and then a realtor comes.
Because no one's this nice, right? Anymore.
And also, this doesn't happen. If this happened to me, I would think I'm being scammed. I'm like, where's the cameras? Like, I would think it's a reality show. I'm being scammed, or like, hilarious. What's the catch? Like, am I gonna have to pay for this in the back end of her?
We become a jaded, society, and we can flip that a little bit,
Well, because this is obviously never happens and is completely rare.
Maybe it will happen more.
Exactly.
Like you said, maybe people will hear what Secure did and think, okay, I'm at this, something could be anything. I work in a bagel shop. That lady needed some bagels for her meeting, and I forgot my wallet. You know what? Take them. They're on me.
Yeah.
Have a great day. Like, you do enough of that stuff.
100%.
The world's pretty darn good.
So let's talk about.
I don't know why I went bagel shop, but
I don't know either. That
was weird, right? I'm hungry, maybe.
We mentioned this a little bit on the show before, but in my particular situation, I had this hailstorm. I put up the video on social media. Hail, crazy.
It almost looks fake.
It
like
does,
I'm on his roof dumping buckets of ice from his fridge. Because it was an excessive amount of hail.
I will tell you this: I got instant karma that day.
Oh, really?
Instant. I left the customer's house.
Yeah.
I went to go get. It was around lunchtime. I went to go get me a couple slices of pizza. I ordered the pizza. The guy heated it up and everything. I went to go pay for it. I didn't have my wallet. I left it in my office.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry." I said, "You know something? Don't worry about it. You
no wrong.
Oh my God! It's a miracle. Oh my God!
Hold on.
Tom hates paying it forward though.
All I heard from that is like, I'm gonna pretend I don't have a wallet at every place I go to.
Didn't you do that? Didn't you do that at the ski place where you didn't have cash?
I did do that.
You pretended you didn't have your
wallet.
wallet.
They didn't give me the pizza though, because asked me, like, get out of here.
They knew you were
get off of my property.
So anyway, so I called Secured. Rick came by, got on my roof, and was like, "Yeah, you got divots everywhere."
Did you go in Tom's main bathroom?
No, he doesn't need to go in the bathroom. He can go on the roof.
Well, I want him to go in the main bathroom now.
No, because
Next time you're there,
no, he doesn't need to go in the bathroom.
Does. Go in the main bathroom. Do you know what's in there? No. There is a life-size metal etching of his wife's naked ass.
Why? Rick don't want to hear that.
He doesn't look like the type of guy doesn't want to hear that. Rick looks like he
did say too much information, so I think you might be wrong.
So anyway, Rick comes up on my roof. He's like, dude, there's divots everywhere. He's like, this thing has
he's on the roof,
complete
not in the
damage.
bathroom.
And before he leaves, like he's like, the next step is filing a claim. I could be there with you and help you file or whatever. It was great, but it's super easy.
Well, it can be confusing if you use the wrong people too.
Yeah, and so, but me and my wife were born in Miami, and in Miami, if you file an insurance claim, there is no possibility that it's real or it's legitimate. It's like, in fact, I was only told that you file insurance claims if you're trying to scam. Yeah. Like that's what my mentality
was.
Since
I met him, and I've known him quite a
That's the Miami mentality. If you think differently, you haven't lived there.
The Miami Mandalorian. This is the way.
So my wife, obviously, when I was like, well, this is the next step. We have hail damage. Rick confirmed it. Yeah. Our next step is filing a claim.
No.
And she was super apprehensive just because she was told like her whole life, and her dad like owns an insurance company down there, like he's part owner of one, and so it's like a big thing, like filing an insurance claim, like and there's a stigma behind it, and people think like, oh, you're filing an insurance claim, I know what that means. You want a new roof? Yeah. And but Rick, I'm sure you hear this a lot, and Rick was explaining to me, he's like, well, first, you should file a claim because these divots are going to turn into water damage, and later on down the line is going to be your entire roof is full of mold and water, and then your insurance company is going to be like, why didn't you file the claim before this happened? Right. Now we have to pay an insane
Well, you're not protecting your investment. You just redid basically you just gutted and redid your entire home, so now you're not going to worry about the exterior that could cave in and destroy all of your hard work.
And then it's like, this is why you have insurance. You had hail damage. You have a video of hail. Yeah. I went up there. I saw it. I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't
like
a few pieces of ice.
this is not the old Miami special. I'm up there with a ball peen hammer, whacking it crazy, and then I'm like, yeah, there was hail. Like there hasn't been rain in months. Anyway, so Rick, you probably experience this a lot of people apprehensive of filing claims, right?
Absolutely. Because like you said, a lot of people think it's a scam. Or sometimes one of the number one things is they think their rates are going to rise or the insurance company is going to drop them. Sometimes it is the case, but not always.
Yeah, and then also Rick said, listen, he's like, I know, that Secured Roofing advertises with your show. I listen to your radio show and stuff, but he's like, if I go up there and there's no damage, then there's no damage. There's nothing we can do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's like, I'm not going to go up there and be like, oh, this could be. It's either is or isn't.
Maybe can I ask you this? Let me ask you this question. Is it? Because I think this was sort of the same vibe when we were chatting with the owner a few months back. Do you find that you have to undo some of the mistrust that people have for other roofing companies that have given the industry almost a bad name?
Yeah, sometimes, but just stick to the script. I stick to the script of who we are.
Right.
Just let them know who we are. I do recommend
it's an integrity business. Yeah, that's the way you run it.
I recommend you look us up. I want you to know who we are. I want you to do your research.
Accountability, yeah.
And I'm not a forceful person, just like Tom said, I let him know from the very beginning, if it's not up there, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not up there.
Yeah.
But it was actually up there.
I'll show you, Rick. What about this? Like, look at this little, there's a mold.
Yeah. And he actually sent me the video. He had a pretty good video of the storm at his house.
It was crazy.
Was just coming down heavy, really heavy.
Yeah, it looks fake. I did a nice job with those ice cubes, didn't I?
It almost looks CGI.
Yeah, I'm up there dumping them like crazy. I'm whipping the sheets to make thunder. I'm pulling strings. Yeah, it looked like Kevin McAllister up there.
But you're exactly right, Rick. It was like look up Secured Roofing, read the reviews, talk to BDMs that have used them.
Talk to our listeners, email us, talk to Rick.
They're a great company, and if you want to call Rick directly, it's 3.
You can't read your own
I knew I should have wrote it down.
352-805-9316. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
All right.
Or just fill out, there's a form on the front of Secured Roofing and Restoration.com, and you can get, a free estimate, or at least they'll come out there and check if you have damage.
Free inspections and free estimates.
Yeah. Rick, thank you so much. I
thanks
appreciate
for the time,
it,
man. Nice meeting you. And,
likewise.
Overall, thank you to Secured Roofing and Restoration just for being a super quality company and wanting to help people in this community.
And think about that. So if you're in the market for a roof, think about those sort of things. You know,
100%.
like a lot of our clients give back, and that's the type of clients we want to work with. We'll take a break and come back with more corporate time right after this.